All of that is a long way of saying, because we're an island, it costs us an awful lot to get goods and services brought out here to Suffolk County. And for that reason, but primarily initiated by our need for crushed stone and other construction products, we decided to buy this first 30-acre piece of property and develop a transload facility for construction materials. And since we started developing it back in 2007, we have gotten a lot of interest from other users, as Judy mentioned, the bakery industry, which has a concentration out here in Suffolk County, is a primary example of the bulk product that wants to come by rail. Biodiesel wants to come by rail. Construction lumber wants to come by rail. Steel products want to come by rail. Anything that has high bulk density is the likely candidate to come out here by rail to take one more cross off the road.
Yeah. So I think there's a little bit of misconception, which I think is important to understand really what being a railroad really means. You know, we're part of, so take a step back, CSX, Norfolk Southern here, designated Class 1 railroad. They would create all around the country. We're a Class 3 railroad, which is a rail terminal that's operated by Class 3 railroad. And what that means is that we are part of the national rail network. So we can take flour from New York, Dakota, we can take commodities from California, Alaska, it doesn't matter. But being a railroad, we have to be able to take those commodities. So as a railroad, we bring in commodities, we handle whatever is being handled in the national rail network. And what really wants to come by goal. So I can tell you, I'm not from Long Island, spent a lot of time here in the last year and a half, but the one thing I can tell you is that this region is a tremendous competitive disadvantage from supply chain management standpoint. And these types of facilities in town are certainly needed. And if you're familiar with the New York Metropolitan Transportation Council or the gas form, a lot of people put a lot of effort forward right now to develop these types of terminals on the island to reduce the congestion of Long Island Expressway and crossing bridges and facilitate and promote economic development and growth.
You said multiple facilities. When is the city going to be done on all of the proposals that are presently in the offer?
Couldn't hear the question. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Why don't we wait with the questions until after they do their presentation?
Okay.
It's a lot easier, this way we can have that time. And maybe during their presentation, some of the questions we might have might be answered. Right, Joe?
Yeah, I really can't speak to the other studies that were done on other properties or other properties in town or several regions of it. All I know is that we started out with, you know, a 30-acre piece of property. The demand is so great from shippers, home shippers, people that even want to bring their products to the island, that we expanded the footprint and started keeping property out here. And to be perfectly honest with you, Andy, you know, we talk on a daily basis, and Andy talked to me probably 9 months ago, and said, you know, we just trying to
we are licensed by the federal government, by the Surface Transportation Board. However, when we got to the point where we were down before the Surface Transportation Board for the licensing hearing, we agreed, Supervisor Lesko was actually there, and we agreed that we would, and the federal government expects you to, agree to all of the health, safety, and public welfare issues that the town brought up, which is what we did. So as far as the jurisdictional overview, that's what happens from a jurisdictional point of view. For the plans going out on this 88 acres, I will tell you that the town is intimately involved on almost a daily basis.
Maybe you can answer how we have this, building department and fire.
I mean, what are the
When did you get the kid?
concerns I had, and then I had the federal jurisdiction, we must be compliant with the regulations in the town of Brookhaven as far as site plan regulations, clearing limits, and all that kind of stuff.
From a technical standpoint, I don't believe we are subject to local or state jurisdiction when it comes to zoning, regulations. We have gone in.
What did you say, to your knowledge?
Yes.
I would think at this point you would know whether you are or you are not.
He said no.
No.
He said no. I said no. Well, the lawyer, let him talk. Go ahead. It is my understanding that we are not subject, that railroads are not subject to local or state zoning regulations, other than, as Judy said, health, safety, and welfare. You couldn't build a building that didn't meet or exceed building codes. You can't have a fire hazard that doesn't meet local codes. Does that answer your question?
Obviously, I think there's a concern because of what happens on the regional site and, regrading and, that kind of an issue, and we really don't want to see that, on the rest of the site, that's what we're saying.
Okay, I'm gonna, I just wanna go with regrading. Well, no, I think it's important, again, I'm not. Yeah, no, sir, I'm not interested in the everyday activities or waste, but I can tell you it's going to tell you better than I can. So the grading is a function of the locomotive and the aggregate that's along the railroad. And that is the property, and you know the elevation better than I do, but the property, the original property is where the grade is far higher, people higher than along the railroad. You have to bring down the grade from a safety perspective. You can't have runway freight car coming out on the main line of the railroad. This is just the railroad. So that, you see it, you're telling me 30-ton cars, you know, that you have a little more to go that on the grade. You don't have to get grade going on the railroad. That's the grade problem.
I have a question. Have you been issued a clearing permit for clearing you're doing on the land adjacent to the Honor Farm? Yes. By who? Who authorized that? Who authorized that?
The answer is no.
No.
No permit, but just clear. And we're only in truck for,
Oh, well.
stand my.
What I need, hopefully, understand kind of a little bit is, it's a little disconcerting here that you want to purchase 250 acres of land and have no idea what you're going to do with it. I mean, I've been doing this work here, I've been in this project for 27 years, I've never heard that you're going to purchase 250
there's a vision, which is a real paramount, and I think we're helping space to support, freight rail. It's probably a likely fit for that piece of property.
A bit?
A fit, it's a fit for that piece of property. You know,
Oh, a bit, a bit.
So, but if you were to say, is it 3,000 square feet, it's 100,000 square feet, you know, bigger site that you gotta find somebody that needs that space. But what she'll tell you is that most likely gonna be some warehousing space, some cold storage, perhaps, which this area desperately needs. You know, all your cold storage right now is through Long Island, comes from New Jersey. So there's a real demand for climate control, cold storage space here in this area. So, there's certainly commodities that we think will eventually come back. Whether it be here next year or 4 years from now, that's all right. I wish I could tell you.
Andrea, it may help to, Adrian, I'm sorry.
I've been told worse.
It may help to, when this whole process started, when we broke ground in September of 2010, it was for the crushed aggregate. No one knew at that point in time that we were going to have facilities for flour, for bio. The flour came along totally unexpectedly, because frankly, winter bread was about to move off of Long Island because his transportation costs for flour were outrageous. The folks from Islip brought him over, there was a meeting in the trailer, and the rest is history. He started in bringing 40% of his flour needs by rail. It worked out so well that he's now up to 90% because it's just so much less expensive. Biofuel, pretty much the same thing. Biofuel came, we said, we can make room for this, and that's what started. So now the heating season is coming up, and numerous oil companies are coming in, they're taking the biofuel off, they're mixing it on their site, and it's being burned as biofuel. So if you would have asked us in September of 2010, what are we putting on this site? We would have said to you, we're putting a transload facility for fixed grade crushed aggregate. We did not know at that point in time that we were going to be doing flour and biofuel. As Andy said, there are construction companies, lumber companies, large lumber companies, and some steel companies that are very, very interested in addition to refrigerated warehouses. So, can we say that there's going to be warehousing? Yeah, but exactly how large and where, give us some contract layout, we can't give you
But the reality is you're not some of the vacant land. You know what you're going to do. It's the county's position that they don't know what you're going to do. And that to me is inconsistent. How can one know what they're going to do, but you have no idea?
Okay, you have what,
Yes, I do. Actually, I'd like to go back to the issue of the land here. Now, you all see my opinion on this vote. I can't imagine really clearing land without a strategic plan. So let's talk about what you're doing right now today. What are you doing with that northeast quadrant where we see all the trucks coming out from the sand and all the land clearing that you may not have permits for? So I would like you to tell me right now, since I see this every day, what are you doing there in the northeast quadrant of the state?
Just to further explain it, these are photographs that were taken of that area, and if you see how deep that hole is, and I understand its level of the trestle of the tracks, I'm sorry, but it is, when I say deep, it's a deep hole.
I'm sorry, I don't think we're talking about the same thing. I understand your existing operation. I'm talking about what is going on just next door. What you're talking about is the tracks are along here. Yeah. The clearing is going on in here. And the going on right east of the ridge. The clearing is going on right. That's exactly right. I want to know what is going on the new property. I cannot believe you would be clearing without a strategic plan. This property
He don't need
Why
it.
are you
Does everybody
working on
understand that? He don't need it. They can do what they
They're
want.
saying, just so that we understand it correctly, they're saying that we don't need a permit.
That's right.
It's federal. Okay, they can do whatever they want, and that's
I-
what they. Okay, then what is it that you're saying? Clear, what is it that you're saying?
We have given them a preliminary plan, track layout. We intend to build rail facilities. We've given the town a plan. The town has the plan. If you'd like to see it, you're more than happy to probably go to the town and ask them to see it. They have been to the site multiple times. They have been to the site. They have seen what we're doing. We are complying with the plan that we submitted.
Okay.
But how is it clearing? That's the question.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, it just seems a lot of people in the community have a question about how is the, you have a plan, doesn't seem like the town adopted this plan.
I don't know anything about it, Adrian, I just like to say.
So they don't know about it.
Council
Well,
of
maybe
Beauty
the town
doesn't
has
know.
to show, or maybe they don't, we should schedule, but that's whatever it is. You know, apparently the building inspector somehow is now in charge of the town, but, but how is it that the clearing is occurring, if you're saying, being in a permit here or not, and are you clearing? Because on Long Island, clearing is a pretty big deal. That's the argument. So how does that happen?
Parallel to the
Hold on, whoa, hold on. Finish your question.
So my question is, since you're clearing, and you don't have a permit, but on the other hand, you're saying your schedule, and you're not saying you can do whatever you want, rectify for us how it is you're clearing without a permit. I think that's what I'm hearing a lot of people ask.
Because it is under federal
That's
jurisdiction.
what we're in.
Because it's under federal jurisdiction, we do not do the clearing permit. However, we have been working with the town throughout this process. They knew when we were gonna start the day before we knocked the tree down. The town knew when we were gonna start. They've been to the site, they've
You need to
inspected.
clarify.
That's not true.
Hold on.
Does the councilwoman know?
Let me get that clarified, because obviously you haven't met with the town. So, when you say the town, you have met with, just to be clear, which meeting? Who did you meet with?
Met with Matt Minor.
Matt Minor? He's,
I'm surprised that didn't run out with this.
Not anymore.
And the supervisor.
He's gone. He's gone.
okay. And you met with the building department, is that who you said you met with recently, or?
Today I met with
The building department, that's one hill?
Oh, I knew that was coming. We're in trouble.
Okay. Gentlemen in the back, you had your hand up before?
Yeah, I'm from Rocky Point Civic, and I just want everyone to realize one thing. Just because Yaphank is a small, intimate community, this problem is recognized throughout Brookhaven. They are not a small community that's in trouble dealing with this problem. Okay, expanding on that, I heard you referring to runaway freight trains, and what I'm listening to is a runaway freight train that isn't checking anything in terms of authorizing with our community, the people that are in our public trust, to care for the security of our land and how it's being used. We don't have much left in this part of Long Island. What people need here are jobs. You just said that you're out of the area, so you're one job less that this community didn't get, and I don't know how many more. And truck drivers usually are out-of-staters coming in here, taking and hauling freight out. So I don't think you're bringing in the ratio of jobs that we're looking for with what little land we've allowed to go out for industrial usage. We're getting hurt really bad, and you're looking to expand upon that, and you're probably going to get angrier and angrier reactions unless something becomes a partnership that the community also benefits, because the one thing that this open space benefits us with is clear air and clear water going into our ground aquifers. And you're looking to take that away, and as far as we're concerned, abuse it. What can you say that you're bringing to a benefit? Because 1 acre of industrial land usually yields about 40 people having a job within those buildings. When you're talking about warehouses, you can give me a 1 acre warehouse and put 3 people in charge of security, waiting for a truck driver to pull up and take stuff out.
I just wanted to say, in response to the job creation, that for the 120 acres that is currently part of the Brookhaven Rail Terminal, the projection for job creation on that 120 acres, and I don't know about your ratio, is 235 jobs. And to date, we haven't hired anybody from out of state, notwithstanding the fact that Mr. Mills is from Detroit. Everybody that works at the facility is
What does
local
30
to
acres
Suffolk
give
County.
us? What did we get out of the 30 acres already used?
Let him finish, okay?
I didn't hear you.
You've already used 30 acres. How many jobs did you create for local people in those 30 acres?
Well, by the time we're built out in the 30 acres, because of the uses on the 30 acres, about 26 jobs are projected. We don't have
Less than 1 an acre. That's amazing. Farmers use more labor.
Okay. I have a question for the gentleman over here. You said that you met with Mark Lesko, who is a town supervisor who counting hours to get out of the town. You met with Pat Meyer, who's the Commissioner of Waste Management. For the past several years, their number one source of income is the town landfill. That property that you're buying, funnels right into the landfill. They've lowered their rates year after year after year to be more competitive in the open market, to bring more garbage in there. Are there any plans, have there been any discussion with the town of Brookhaven that at some point, how we bring a rail square into the landfill?
No.
You have an agreement and stipulation that prevents that, correct? It prevents them from taking.
All right, one of the questions that I have, I'm gonna say, we're talking about trucks. We're talking about trucks coming into the, water trucks coming through the bridges. And I think it's fantastic. I'm on expressway is low. But what you're doing in Suffolk County, especially to Brookhaven, is doubling the truckload, because not only are you bringing trucks in for the delivery that's going out, trucks are coming in to pick up the stuff that's being shipped in.
More
So
trucks
for
than ever
us,
on the expressway.
hold on, for us, here, we're getting an increase of trucks, not a decrease, and our roads that are built right now in this area, there's only a couple of roads that are shortcuts between the north and the south, and they can't take much more. We have enough already that's been built within Yaphank that actually forces those roads unable to take the heavy loads. That's the question I have.
I think the question is, where are the trucks going out? Okay. So, when this 30 acres is completed, the trucks will come out onto Sills Road, go up to Sills Road, and go either east or west on the expressway. Where are they coming from?
Come out at 2 miles an hour and block the whole damn road, and they pull left whenever they want to, and cut all the northbound traffic. And who's gonna do something about that? The town of Brookhaven, the county, or are you gonna do it? You lied to us from day one when you came in here about the aggregate, and you started without permission from anybody developing that site, taking sand out until we went to Newsday and stopped you. That's right. And then you made a backroom deal with the town of Brookhaven and Mark Lesko, and you got what you wanted. You still, from day one, with the town of Brookhaven, said you're going to put a 50-foot barrier. There's no barrier. The sand blows right off that place, down past the expressway, right onto Patchogue Yaphank Road, right into Pumpkin Patch Farm Stand. What are you doing about that? Now we got to listen to you again. You're full of crap. You're going to lie to us again.
Ladies and gentlemen, we came here tonight at the invitation of the Yaphank and South Yaphank Civic Association.
Don't start this stuff about be nice to us.
No, but we gotta be nice to them. We're here answering.
I don't have to be nice to them. They're ruining my life.
I understand that. They're ruining all of our lives.
They are.
I'm agreeing with you, but you also have to be polite. This is an organization, and that is part of.
Well, what was impolite? I said crap.
Get you carried out of a town board meeting.
Let me answer the question.
The buffer landscape, okay? When the town of if you don't settle, we're going to give them their license.
No, they didn't.
Yes,
No,
they
you got
don't.
that backwards.
No, that didn't happen.
Excuse me, but I was there, and that's exactly what happened. So whether you want to believe that or not, that's entirely up to you. So what happened was, Town of Brookhaven and the Union Rail Terminal sat down, and they came to the stipulation. Part of the stipulation called for the buffering along Sills Road. That is happening. As construction, and this was always the plan, it has never changed. As the construction goes from the life of right-of-way, which is this line here, we were west. The first thing that happened, and that had to happen, was there had to be a switch put off of the main line of the Long Island Railroad. That switch is down in this corner. That was the first thing that happened. Actually, it was not. The first thing that would happen is that the Federal Railroad Administration, by their safety guidelines, said that we had to be 1 foot at least below the main line of the Long Island Railroad. So we graded, actually lower than that, because the rail line has to be on a bedding. We graded that area. The switch went in, and once this area was completed in construction, the buffer was put, if you come up Sills Road before you cross the bridge there, you'll notice that there's a line of evergreens in there. That buffer was planted because frankly, the construction in that area is done. One of the things that had to happen was we had to have water brought into the site. We, recently got from the State Transportation Department, we applied to the Suffolk County Water Authority. The Suffolk County Water Authority applied to New York State DOT. We now have water on the site. We now have water on the site. Not quite, but we're getting there.
They got permission, Suffolk County got permission to tie in to the road opening. Right away.
We're working through the process, so that we can get water onto the site. Once that water's on the site, as construction is completed in this area, some of you may have seen when you're driving past, there is a very large concrete buffer that's being installed right now. It's what's called an evergreen wall, and it will run along Sills Road. Once that is completed, and the roadway off of Sills is completed, that evergreen wall will be planted so that there will be a total buffer along Sills Road.
How wide?
How wide, I don't know.
There is a 50-foot buffer from Sills Road to all the facility. There will be evergreen planted on 12-foot centers, 2 rows, and 1 stagger. The balance will be higher seed. That will be from, on the entire west side of Approx, or in the road, right down to the expressway.
And when will that be done?
You got questions, raise your hand, please. To say that I'm not getting a warm and fuzzy feeling over this whole project would certainly be an understatement. But since this project began, we've been hearing a lot of promises about a lot of things, and a lot of them have not
the buffer along 101 with the sand running across is gone on entirely too long. I don't even know how long. It's been well over a year. Larry, how long has it been? Year and a half now. It's been promised. You know, I mean, that's.
Oh, that's when it first started.
Listen, you know what? Not for nothing. I mean, how long has this been? Come on. There's no reason for this to have gone on this long. Number two, the fact that the reports are, and you can dispute them, and you can go back and forth about the reports from the CDC that you've been dumping C&D in there, and I've heard, well, it was just an illegal truck that we had there. I don't know that I believe that, to be quite honest with you. Okay, so if you're digging holes in there and dumping C&D in that property, that's pretty significant. Okay, you're now, by your own admission, clearing property without a permit. Okay? I don't know how many other things are going on there that we don't even know about, but some of these things that I'm aware of, what assurances do we have that if this other 250 acres is sold to you, that you're gonna abide by the rules? Because it doesn't seem like you're abiding by any rules.
Okay, so I think you had two questions there, and I'll address them. First of all, we've never said anything differently about the buffering that we're saying tonight. It has never, that story has never
Comes
changed.
down to
We
the
have-
community. It comes down to taking care of the community.
I understand, but the reality is, we can't put a buffer in until we're finished construction. So what have we constructed?
What?
We are,
Because the grade is changing there, you can't plant and then rip it out.
okay,
You could start there.
I know that this is very good. I understand that, and 13,000 feet of rail track in September of 2010. In addition to that, there is a 25-foot containment vessel on the site that has to be buried to receive the aggregate. In addition to that, there is a, how long is it? There is a
80 foot from the top
330
down.
foot tunnel constructed right on site
Which piece of
to
property
remove
you have?
the aggregate. Then there are the holding facilities for the aggregate. In addition to which, there was the construction for flour, and then there was the construction for the biodiesel. Is this moving as fast as anybody would like? No. It's a complicated process. In addition to the DEC, please, go look at the DEC violation. There was one violation, it was for an aggregate crushing
They couldn't legally, the town.
machine.
To dump in raw concrete, we are building a recycle station for the rail track.
Now they want me to give it to the camera guy.
There was an issue with DEC as to whether we could take it there, process it on site or not. We've agreed with the DEC to stop processing it on site. We are currently working out our issues with the DEC.
And the DEC has never given us a violation for dumping anything there that should not be dumped.
No one,
What?
it absolutely is C&D. Unfortunately, if you go to crush concrete, it's C&D. That's what it is. If you take the time to look up the violation, I'm sure it's public, there's a nice little sentence on it that says exactly what it is. Both the DEC are taking crush concrete.
Brookhaven and the DEC have been to the site multiple times, and no one has ever accused us of overtaking. We have not been accused of over by anyone.
Nobody cited us.
We've not been
Taking
cited.
anything now.
That is the issue with the DEC. We believe we have worked it out with the DEC down to the language of it. We've agreed that we won't do that again. We've agreed that, okay, maybe we were wrong, maybe we weren't wrong. Maybe it's a questionable item. We've agreed not to do it again. That's the
legislators, and you can just,
We've gone to the town, and we've asked them about proceeding on the 90 acres. We gave them, they asked us for a preliminary
Target
plan,
treated the
showed
community
them what we
nicer
were
than
going to
Suffolk.
clear, what we
In
planned
Rocky
to
Point,
do,
Target treated
right?
people
And
nicer.
we gave the town, we had the town on site, we showed them what we planned to do, we've done everything that we told them we were going to do. They were there as recently as last week. Right? If there were issues, nobody brought them up.
I didn't know that.
School
And,
meeting,
yeah,
so.
when you say the town, just to be very clear, you're not meaning the people.
But
So, and whoever you met with as far as representing the town has not spoken to them.
John, you have a question?
I think the problem here with a lot of things based on this and based on a lot of what I'm hearing is that, what my personal issue is with this, and so many things have happened with government and things, is that we're told one thing and something else happens. And the problem is we're not being told that quick. When South Yaphank Civics Authority agreed with the 2.5 years ago about this, we were told it was simply going to be aggregate at 29 acres. You didn't tell us that it could eventually be 370 acres. You didn't tell us that it could be flower or it could be something else. You said there'd be a buffer. You didn't tell us it might take 2 or 3 years to put it in. Okay, so what I'm saying is you need to be upfront more about the reality of something, not the pie in the sky beauty of paving trucks on the road and that kind of thing. I read in Newsday today that you just had a deal fall through to sell 80 of your acres to the Shinnecock to put a casino.
You put a railroad through it.
That whatever
I
you're
don't want
planning for
them.
the additional 250 acres.
I know.
Let's
What
swamp
you
them.
want it to be, or what you
Let's
want
swamp
it to be, even though you don't know what it's specifically going to be. I mean, it's like going up to a builder saying, I want a house and I want rooms in it. What kind of rooms? Where are they? How many floors? Do they have plumbing? We want to know that. You know, you're talking about what the federal government says you can do with your land and this and that. This is our land.
Amen.
We need to know what's being done with our land. You have an agreement with Brookhaven, what you went and got a permit for. Why isn't that here tonight? Why isn't there a picture of your plan, the one that was approved, and you're allowed to clear up that road? Where is it? This gentleman here
Can't
just said
see
that
the
we were
room from
approved
where I am.
to clear the land.
Give me a head count of our people, just real quick.
That's what everybody here is.
Forget that.
All we want is you to be it's going to be horrible.
See if I get a loan.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to understand that.
listen, I understand, a lot of your frustration is with government.
No, it's not.
You!
We want to be more upfront with people. If you're saying, excuse me, if government allows you to be clandestine, you're going to be clandestine. Okay, so what you should be doing as the good neighbor, is you should say to government, is allowing you to be clandestine. No, we don't want to be, we want to be upfront. We want to comment on what you're doing. You're just as bad as they are. So, by not saying anything, you're just agreeing with whatever is wrong. That's what I'm trying to say, just be upfront. If it's gonna be horrible, then tell us it's gonna be horrible, so we know it's coming. Don't just say,
It's horrible.
okay, hold on, folks.
When we came to South Yaphank, as I said earlier in the evening, if we had known there was gonna be flower there, we'd have told you there was gonna
But
be.
you didn't anticipate that? I mean, come on, you honestly believe you dug a hole in the ground, you're gonna bring in aggregate, and that's it?
At the time that we came to you, that was our business plan. Look, that was the business plan. And we did not know.
Did the business plan that you said to us include a possibility of something additional other than that?
It included a possibility, and I am sure,
We talked about merchandise rate, we just didn't
Yes.
know what it was.
what it
And
was
we
going
still
to be.
don't know, every day somebody different comes into the product.
And that's what we've got, we're supposed to be reassured.
Okay, hold up, you know,
You don't know what you can't do? Wow. I know what you can't do. Tell the truth.
One of the biggest, okay, hold on, folks, we got too many people talking, therefore, it's not gonna be positive for anybody. So it's hazardous way. Okay, somebody back there.
When you were originally here, you also said you wouldn't have the night operation. Has that changed?
No, we do not have.
What about the sand mining? That's done at night.
What?
The lights are on over there.
The trains will.
We hear the trains.
Trains are not coming in our site right now.
You may hear the Long Island Railroad, you don't.
They're not, trains are not coming in to our site at night time. I don't know how else to say that, they're not coming in. In fact, the trains that come in to our site.
Is the sand mining being done at night? No. Why is
Is
the,
anybody on the site?
What
why
are
are
your
the
hours
lights
of
on
operation
over
in
there?
those 30 acres present? 4 AM to 4 PM.
4
Okay,
a.m. That's
hold on.
not night?
Okay. I have a question for,
That's morning.
Congressman.
That's morning.
Does the county share the same concern as the community does as far as having lack of oversight with the clearing of this land and the development? They're looking to sell these 250 acres to this organization here, development. That property there is probably some of the highest elevation in this entire community here. When you stand on that property, you can see for miles in any direction. Now they're telling you that they have to dig down to grade, to railroad grade, in order to develop this property. Well, Mr. Gucci made tens, almost hundreds of millions of dollars just regrading this property. Making it sand. They can pay for this property tenfold just by selling the sand off there. That's a great investment. Now, how does the county feel about all this?
Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons I wanted to come tonight, to hear from the, community, hear some of the concerns that they have. But, you know, obviously this is land that was, deemed surplus by the Suffolk County legislature.
Excuse me, and 20 years ago, it was too environmentally sensitive to even put a golf course on.
That's right. That's right. I remember.
Maybe we can rethink it.
I mean,
I'm definitely interested in kind of hearing what the community has to say tonight.
one of the things that,
$20 million to make $100 million to sell the sand off of it, you know what?
Well, I don't know what to say.
one of the things that the community is concerned about, without having, it's not like the Montauk railroad station. You got the tracks, but there are certain buildings that the town of Brookhaven has control over, even though it's railroad. Here, we don't have that, as per their statement. We don't have that. Therefore, my concern is, when we start talking about building, when it does come, what are we getting? Because we're not gonna have a say. Size, width, how many, on top of what, how close, we're not gonna have a say. That is our concern. Without having a say, without having the ability to look at something that conforms, okay?
Yeah, and that's why I think it's important to have these meetings, and, you know, a few things. It bothers me very disturbed to find that Councilwoman, throughout the process, when I heard the conversation, but I'm talking at the time, however, the person who represents the community, and myself, was never contacted. Ask us.
You know you have been.
And we know what's going on in this community. We have the pulse of this community. And that's what I think is important, that we were not contacted. You know, when you talk about what you want to do here, I think you first heard well, is there's the people in this community, and I think you heard it at the legislature. Some of those people are here tonight. You heard it from other legislators, even from the West End, that where is the community outreach? And there hasn't been any.
Zero.
And that's what makes it difficult. And again, like I said, with the Legacy Village, that was shoved down this community's throat, take it or leave it. And they've gotten to the point where they don't trust government. I don't blame them, because I don't either.
All right, Jay.
They're being told one thing, but then something else happens.
totals about 1/6 of the Farmers River proposed acquisition for the watershed. Okay, it's 1/6 of that land. Now, that land, for far as I know, the county only has about 10 million left in the fine barrel money at the county, that they could actually get new, that they don't have already bonded. You gotta bond this, when you bond 250 acres worth, that's double the price to purchase other land that are around. We have this land already, the county, it's our land, we don't have to bond it, it's gonna protect the watershed, and it just seems impossible, bizarre, that we would give it away, okay? That just seems impossible, okay? Secondly, a couple things, that the railroad doesn't seem, you seem to want to purchase other parcels there, okay? You wanna purchase and you don't know what you're gonna do with the next 88. You don't know what the next 88, and I think what you've done with the 30 acres is horrible. We don't need to spend millions to go to Mars or Moon, okay? It looks like it right there now, okay? You have it right here, okay? And we have every other impossible, operation, industrial horror along those roads. We don't need anything else to impact, that. Yeah. Also, I think.
Why don't you let Sarah show
Okay, let me finish this stuff, then let me go back, okay? Also, development, where will be, most of the big warehouses that have left Long Island, because Long Island's been a dead end. Okay, now all of a sudden, you all wanna have a jump on having more and more trucks here. I believe a train is triple 3 tractor trailers, is that about equivalent to one train? 3 or 4 tractor trailers, okay? That means 3 times the number of trains that trucks we're gonna have in our own local community. And that's not just Yaphank, that's up Long Island Avenue, that's Bedford. And I'll tell you, the trains are 2 o'clock, 11:30 to 2:30 in the morning, I don't know what they're coming in, but they're shaking those people's houses, okay?
Amen to that, I live right too.
And then you hear about the casino, you go for 30 acres, see what you can turn that into. Something good, maybe you can change it around. Safety-wise, I've been on the west side of Hills Road, and if I know where they stand by there, that west side is dangerous. Kids could climb that little fence, get over the fence, and it would cave in. If you go up there, you'll see it. We've had experiences in Bedford with people in the sand mines, gone into people's backyard fences, caved down. Fortunately, too many kids live in that one area. But at this point, you'll see the land apartments and everything else. Although people think there's nobody lives there. So I think those are a few concerns, and maybe we can address all those. But I think, we'll look for our area to be high fence, not high garbage. Okay.
The old one stand line. And there's nothing in the
As you all know, this is the subject parcel, it's outlined in pink, and this is the Herman's River watershed that comes from the town of Brookhaven, Herman's River plant. This is the parcel, and the majority of the parcel is light pale blue, which is in the 10 to 25 year contributing area. So I just wanted to point this out.
Yeah, it's in the water, and that's the contributing water since the road began. Long Island began.
Brookhaven County forwarded from your water resources inventory, which was up on your website until very recently and is now down. But it clearly is in the watershed, and you have an obligation, and as long as you're here from the county, you have an obligation to protect the habitat, the natural environment, and to assess those, and to pretend that what you're hearing tonight isn't going to happen to this land is simply outrageous.
Yes.
The county, I'm proud to say that the county's done an incredible job in preserving, and has preserved the most amount of open
So
space
now you're done with that,
in
and
and around.
Don't backpedal.
Why not this? 60 years, the wildlife is very special.
that you had to have it. Preserve this 230 acres.
Well, and let's not let the town is walking around saying, I'm gonna preserve the Commons River, making backroom deals to get rid of the watershed. How crazy is that? How hypocritical is that? You got the same guy, the same supervisor, the DEP test of representing Congress, is out there selling out the watershed. As
about getting railroaded.
Why are we selling, why is Suffolk County selling the land?
Yeah, why? Besides the bankrupt.
Besides the fact that we're bankrupt, is that not?
Why is
No, it's not a good
The
idea.
fact that we're bankrupt, or
Oh, nursing home
and
died.
that we're possibly looking to sell a parcel of land
In the
that's
watershed?
in surplus, that is bordered by a jail, a fireworks facility, a rail terminal, a landfill.
Okay.
But that is the parcel of land that we are speaking about. And Suffolk County has taken a leading role in protecting the Carmen's River water.
Oh, no, it hasn't.
That said, we are in a position where in order to balance the budget, in order to protect Suffolk County taxpayers, we need to make some difficult decisions. One of them is that we are looking to, is selling parcel of land.
But why sell it to Alibaba and the 40
Not
Thieves?
good.
People.
Hold up.
Go ahead. This question goes directly to Kevin. What guarantees do we have in this community, if this property is sold to Brookhaven Rail Terminal, that it is not turned around and resold to the Shinnecock for a casino? What guarantee do we have? And I want a guarantee. How?
We'll get out there and whomp them.
Well, there needs to be something in the contract that can't happen.
Don't let them buy it. Don't let them buy it.
They can't turn around and sell to somebody else. But, I mean, the rail terminal is they turn around and resell it.
To the Shinnecock. But, I guess my counter question would be, knowing what I do about casinos, you're talking about this particular parcel, these 230 acres. The only road they have any frontage for is Horse Block Road. If you were gonna build a casino, this is a logical
You can't answer our
matter.
question. You can't answer our question.
We don't see it.
Why would anyone on this earth wanna build something that you wanna have thousands of people coming in and out every day, and put your only frontage on Horse Block Road?
Expanded it, setting up to a swamp.
Do we have that guarantee? No, we do not. Would that make any sense? No, it's not.
Alongside these restaurants?
That's not the county.
Atlantic City, they built out into the swamp, reclaimed it.
So I can't.
Okay. I'm one that's known very much for when I've had enough and I've heard it up to here, I stand up because I don't want to drown in it. Okay? You said that you have someone called the Surface Transportation Board that seems to be some sort of family that has capos that tells you you can do anything you want. And you know that you can do this, but then when we said, what can you not do? You don't know what you can't do, but you know what you can do, and that means we just can't trust you altogether. There is no way possible that you should be allowed to own another inch of land in the town of Brookhaven, because already you have lost the 50-foot buffer. The buffer is the start of the land. You could have completed that first. Have you ever gone to Manhattan when a building goes up or a building comes down? The walls go up first, and then they start work. Nobody sees what's going on behind the walls. This community is suffering because you do not care.
Amen.
Against everybody, so be fair about it.
Needs to be backed up a little bit here. I want to go back to what's currently going on the new acquisition that you got at the end of last year, where the clearing is taking place. In concert with what took place with the original 28 acres. When you guys went in August of 2007 and began clearing and sand mining, you were ordered by the Surface Transportation Board to cease and desist. Then it went on for many years. Ultimately, though, the Surface Transportation Board, in conjunction with the agreement with the town, required that the town did a secret, and the Surface Transportation Board required an environmental assessment under NEPA. My question now is, this new parcel has nothing to do with the 28 acres or the stipulation of settlement that was executed with the town, and that you're telling us you have permission from the building department or a building permit to go in and clear? okay? They misunderstood that.
You just got a couple
When-
people into trouble.
Are you allowed under the Surface Transportation Board to go in and clear without a full environmental assessment being completed on Geneva?
I'm not an environmental counsel, so I.
Really?
Something else you don't know.
Evaluated after the,
But that was the problem with the first part. It was difficult because they went in clear, so there wasn't a full assessment. County side, they're selling us out.
You know, keep in mind when you talk about doing whatever we want to do, it's work great. So whatever it is that you think it might be, whether it's an obstacle, if you talk about buildings that are too high, those are things we absolutely can't do. So if there's, you know, there's items or things you're concerned about that are, you know, great, and we can't do them.
Concerned about Pioneer River water. Right, and in fact, you're doing work with it without any environmental assessment. Working with Matt Miner, as far as I'm concerned, we should have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
If we deploy it.
Nationally, railroad tracks are getting torn up left and right. Rail is on the decline. Why is Long Island on the incline? What's going on here? You guys get paid by the mile. It's almost like medallion cabs getting a higher rate to bring it in and then truck it back out, back and forth. Why can't it just stay out, and what needs to be consumed here is the only thing that comes here? Other than that, what you've told us tonight is it's almost like the don't buy Wonder Bread signs are going to go out when we leave. What do you justify bringing all this rail in here for? What is it really going to do for us? Because this is our community, not for you, for us. Other than that, you'd be pirates.
Well, I can tell you that, you know, nationally, freight going to metropolitan areas is about 19% of total.
Erie Lackawanna's ripped up all over New Jersey and Pennsylvania. It's gone.
Here in Long Island, less than 1% of your freight is coming by rail. So
Maybe it should be less.
it's tremendous disadvantage compared to the rest of the country in terms of transportation.
That's why we're on island though.
That's why, yeah. It's like people that live on Block Island, Fire Island, and the county needs to do
people are basically saying,
Go away.
hearing this all correctly, is the fact that you have a site, you are allowed under certain provisions, take down trees, and start to build, whatever, without some type of conformity to the town regulations on the size of the building, how close, whatever. And our concern is that we live here, and we have to see this. It's all land, it's all water, it's all everything, it's all life. Unfortunately, since the time that I moved here, and I worked here, 35 years before I even decided to move here, I worked right on Yaphank Avenue. I have seen, unfortunately, Yaphank become a dumping ground for a lot of solid waste crap. And sad as it is, the reputation of some rail locations have transported a lot of C and D in from other places for the local garbage, because I do undercover work for a lot of that stuff. So I know what I'm talking about. They do a lot of transport and do bring in a lot of other things. Therefore, we all are concerned, because in reality, you're telling the community, this is what we're gonna get, this is what we're interested in, don't ask, because we ain't gonna come. And that leaves us with the bad taste. And unfortunately, we're here, we live here, this is our community. We're seeing our trees go, we're seeing our land go, and with items that we're not that crazy about seeing coming in, because there's no restrictions.
How many people are in favor of the county selling this land?
How many people in this room are in favor of the county selling the land? That's the question. Raise your hand.
Wow. How many elected people would like to see the land sold?
If you had, hold up, if you had the answers that you're looking for, when you were able to turn around and be told, X is gonna be put in under these restrictions, this and that, how many people would be interested? Raise your hand. I'm saying if the answers were there.
Too big an answer.
I mean,
Thank you. Sure, can I ask a question? Did the flour company or the bakery come to you, or did you solicit from them?
Actually, they came to us via the town of Iceland Foreign Trade Zone. I'm sorry, economic development, the foreign trade zone, you're right. It was through the economic development authority, the town of Iceland.
ABCO,
They had a,
don't buy lumber.
Long Island, particularly I live in the town of Brookhaven, has numerous bakeries in the town. One of the largest bakeries in the town of Iceland was preparing to, no, it's not Ensign. Yeah, they were, Ensign used to be, Ensign no longer has most of their, production on Long Island. This particular bakery was, had left the town to Iceland know that they were getting ready to leave Iceland. Obviously, their economic development office was very involved in talking to them. We had done some outreach to the foreign trade zone, they had heard about us, and they brought them in to do business with us.
Okay, and what about the biodiesel?
I don't know about, I know that,
Never know anything. Amazing. There's only 26 people there to supervise, and they don't know anything.
Let me ask you another
Quite
question.
as many people in this room.
When the biodiesel leaves here, where does it go?
It goes to several different places, in Nassau and Suffolk County. There are several different oil companies right now who are using the biofuel, because it burns cleaner and cheaper than,
They blend in regular heating oil.
right, they blend it in.
Unfortunately, it was designed by, John Romanelli got killed in a tragic accident. He was the originator of bringing biodiesel to our facility. He was going to be the operator of Suffolk County. Unfortunately, he was killed in an accident. And, ultimately has decided to continue on with a different operator.
So that fuel will go to various different places on Long Island and in Suffolk County.
How many go east? Do most of them go west?
I have to be honest with you, I don't know.
Well, I mean, most of this stuff is in Nassau County and New York City.
No, I don't think that's correct. They have a terminal that accept services, Nassau County and the boroughs, which is in New Hyde Park. So I believe most of this is used out here.
Believe that.
That's all that's on the road. Okay, gentlemen over there, you have questions?
Yeah, go back to trucking. Do you have any kind of study as to how the guys that you put in trucks coming out?
Thank you for your attendance.
What kind of congestion you're gonna have with that, as they bring in more and more trucks? Any tool in homework on that?
There was a traffic study done as part of the detail, National Environmental Protection Act.
Who do you like to have those quit?
It was originally done, it's out, but there's a bid out to repair it, has nothing to do with okay?
They did a traffic study underneath the gas. Wasn't that just on their original acreage, not on the expanded? Correct. So we have 28 acres.
Maybe Bobby can get a job over there. Yeah.
No, the Pilgrim, are you all familiar with the Pilgrim State site?
Some of that was also supposed to be reserved
He was a
land.
patient.
This goes through, that will go through the reserve. That will, and.
Did you have a hot one?
Yeah. So the state, I think it was 15 years ago. I think about 15 years ago, proposed putting in an multimodal facility, by Pilgrim State, and they did a very large analysis with regard to truck traffic,
Judy,
traffic.
they did not do a study on it now. Never mind you today, let me, I found it, I will just agree, I found it really substandard.
But anyway,
Costly study would be good.
Well, I think they could spend a lot of money on very little, like in this particular pattern in the past. Spending money is not their problem.
oh God, I forgot that.
So you look at that transfer facility proposed for, the Hotland area and the traffic study.
And so an analysis was done of that. They've done an analysis, UTRC did an analysis, which is also on the site of truck traffic. And, you know, it is true that we take huge amounts of trucks off the roads and the bridges and whatever. It is also true that when those cars come into Brookhaven Rail Terminal, they have to be unloaded. And when they are unloaded, that's where I am.
Send it down the river.
It's moving with that. When they are unloaded, they come
I just
out.
want to know how fast they can use those trains to take everything out of the landfill and take it out of state.
Some of the fuel trucks,
And then take the tracks behind them.
the flower trucks do go west because right now they're going into the town of Islip.
They're going to Nichols Road.
I'm sorry, Nichols Road.
Yeah, that's how many rail cars you have to get in there. Or no. Well, we calculated on the site that we could handle approximately 10,000 rail cars per year, so 10,000 trucks per year. On trucks. How many trucks?
30,000.
That's what they have already. Okay, they have much less, but
The current configuration of 13,000 unloaded track is designed to accommodate about 10,000 or so, 10,000 rail cars per year. So if you do the math on 3 trucks per rail car, that's what I'm doing.
It's higher than 3, I know that.
It's only 365 days a year.
I think it's more like 7, 7.5 per trailer.
How many do I have every year?
He's jumping along with that because he knows the number's low. I'll look it up. Read the community journal, I have the
I
facts.
represent the, Brookhaven Village Association, and I would just like to say that I've heard enough now that I don't think there's a darn thing I could hear that would make me feel at all warm and fuzzy about this project. And I have to say, I am absolutely outraged that the county would even consider selling this land. It's environmentally sensitive, it's of the little amount of open space we have left. There's gotta be another way to generate some income out of that property or elsewhere, that you do not have to just rape and destroy this land by these people for a purpose that benefits us not at all.
Give a few points, apparently with some of the officials here would like to hear, and contrary to the gentleman in the back who thinks that we have so much stuff here, we should have more stuff here. I'd like to say that my opinion tonight, I don't really have a warm fuzzy feeling like the rest of the room. I believe that the railroad is just standing behind this. We operate with impunity. We have no responsibility to anyone. I don't agree with it, and I'd like to say that if you truly are interested in this land, then the town, the state, and the county all need to make sure that you're accountable to all the existing local zoning, building, laws, clearing limits, clearing limits, and that should be a stipulation of sales that can be considered. They shouldn't have 1 acre until we get insurance. Well, yeah, we're clearing, yeah, we don't have a permit, oh well, too bad. I've been in those woods, I've seen what's going on in there. It's scary. It's really scary. I sent some pictures around on the thing that you saw. And that's nothing as opposed to what we're looking at here. You should not have the opportunity to say,
know real quick, if I could just interrupt real quick, about 4 to 5 years ago, prior to me being on the board of the Yaphank Civics Association, I was sitting in the back of the room when, I don't remember who it was that was here, but it was somebody from the organization who stood up in front of this room and basically said, this is a federal regulation, you really don't have
They
anything.
want the land
This is
stipulation
about
to
5 years,
fail on
so for
this land.
5 years, we're dealing with the same thing. Sorry, the federal regulation,
As soon as they
got
turn the
nothing to
keys
say.
up, that's what they want.
This is what we've been dealing with,
Strip
guys.
it there, line it.
This is what we've been dealing with. This is our community. We've got people coming in here saying to us, hey, it's federal government, too bad, you got nothing to say.
Then don't get the land.
County land.
Okay.
Well,
And, told Brookhaven, but we're not privy to that information. You don't tell us what the second parcel plan, what parcel of land, what your plans are, as of right now?
There will be track in here, and there will be cold storage, climate controlled, and dry warehouse.
How can you say that when all the newspapers are showing, negotiating the regulations,
You know, I really can't vouch for what the newspaper prints, but I can definitely tell you.
You wanna go
that
through
they're
it,
not in negotiations.
They're probably selling the land they haven't bought.
hold on, let him,
So just, and on that, how much would that have to be versus what you have now?
Well, we don't have the warehouse.
no, the board, the file, don't hang out.
30,000 going into that small box.
Thank you very much.
Roughly
Thank you very much. Of course, we need it. Send a book. No, it's messed up.
The reality is, we don't know what it is that we would be warehousing in here. For instance, okay, and so just for instance, there's nothing written in stone here. Example, we've been approached by some of the farm people to bring in some fruits and vegetable lines that would need to be in climate controlled situations. We don't know if that's going to happen,
Why would we want
because
to
they
do
have
so long?
questions that they need to answer on their part, and we have questions that we need to answer on our part.
Can't dig that hill out.
So I can't say to you tonight that it's gonna be X number of trucks where.
You do a 5-year forecast, what are the projections?
if I might, some of the warehousing that was necessary on Long Island doesn't necessarily require a lot of in and out. We have, for instance, only 3 days of antibiotic storage. Antibiotics have to be stored in refrigerated, under temperature controlled conditions. Some of that might not travel in and out at all. Backup storage. We only have 5 days of refrigerated food storage capacity on Long Island. We ever have a disaster where bridges are out. We only have 5 days of storage. So I don't want you to get the idea that refrigerated storage is necessarily going to be high traffic. It's a warehouse, not necessarily generating hundreds and hundreds of traffic of trucks. And I just want to point out also that while 30,000 truck trips, which is the maximum that could happen in the development that we've got under construction now, when you consider that that's a facility that's open 300 days a year, and that it's open 12 hours a day, it's 8 trucks an hour. It's not, you know, a huge, you know, it's not a Hunts Point market.
I'm sure you believe it's not here to storage and things, but,
Today, most of the inquiries that we've had are for between 36 and 38 feet under roof. So you're looking at a structure that's probably a maximum of 40 feet. The cold storage today, is palletized storage where they stack vertically because you can cool the space more economically. So they tend to run from the 36 to 38 foot range. So, you know, new structure above it, you might be looking at
16 foot
James, I have two questions, one for the IT folks and one actually for, Director. Can you just identify to me for my, recent research tomorrow, what area of law allows you to be exempt or excluded from the NEPA process or from any kind of permitting process for land clearing? Do you know off the top of your head? What's the segment of law that excludes you from NEPA or all other environmental laws?
Good question.
But NEPA is a federal right, it's the National Environmental Policy Act, so you must be excluded, something must deem you to be excluded in order for you to be excluded. You know what it is?
Well, just to be clear, the railroad's not included, it went through the process the first time.
Wait, let me clarify my question. My question is, you said, and perhaps I misunderstood, so please you clarify if I did, that you did the land clearing and you didn't have a permit because you don't need one. Isn't that what you said? Or maybe I heard you wrong. Okay, so what allows you to clear land? I mean, I've been doing this 27 years, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, I'm just, this could be first, but I'm wondering, so therefore, if you don't need a permit, you must be exempt under some area of law, some aspect of the law. Do you know what that is? How do you know you're exempt, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Judge told me.
Lawyers told me. I mean, there must be something in writing that gives you this power or this exemption, right?
No, they're just corporate owners.
I'm not a lawyer.
No, I'm not trying to help, I'm really asking that question.
But the railroad itself owns the property, is extending its yard, and under, we're able to do that, extend the yard.
decision from the, Surface Transportation Board?
Well, you know what, I'll find out from Senator Gillibrand's office tomorrow, but, yeah. I'll find out. My second question is, I know that the county ranks parcels of land, having sat in some of those very lengthy meetings, with ranking criteria. Is there a ranking for this land, parcel, Sarah?
Yes, we looked at this parcel and recently looked at it just to see what the open space characteristics would be on this parcel. Should we consider acquiring it as if we have not acquired it already? And it's rated as 12 out of 100. The minimum threshold is 25 points for the planning department to consider recommending it for acquisition to the legislature.
You have the points, chief. I mean, it has to be near other county property. It's probably near wetland, it's in the watershed. It would seem like that it would make a lot of points, more than 12 points. So if maybe you could give us, one time they had that point system and, they didn't even know was supposed to get to 100 and it came out to be 120. So they had to, redo the whole point system about 10 years ago. So it would seem to me a lot of, it would seem to me, it's adjacent to other publicly owned properties, it just doesn't seem to get 12 points.
So would it also be helpful to know what the potential tax impact is?
No, because.
No.
And we pay the bills.
Here's the power plant that's off
Not
the spot,
selling
and you
it.
don't know what they're gonna do with it, so it could be,
Not generating taxes.
You okay with that?
Hey, back here.
I think Sarah has figured the purchase that they care about that. We don't want to hear what it is.
No, I have tax numbers on this parcel, not on the sales numbers. That's the question.
So this would generate tax regardless of how it was used, because it doesn't presently pay any.
Correct. Yes, this would generate for the South Country School District annually 1.5 million. For Longwood,
You can tell me how much
close
tax
to
it's gonna generate, but not what they're building.
How much for one?
Let him finish.
Yes.
The library district in South Country would receive 90,000. This is on
How much was staff along with, we missed that.
$500,000. $29,000. The town is $200,000. The fire district is $203,000. It's the
Brookhaven Fire
Brookhaven Fire District.
We should
The
shift
lighting
it back.
district is $66,000, and the county is $484,000.
What a giveaway.
Okay.
I just want to challenge them and hopefully come out winning something tonight, walking out of this room, making people in Yaphank slightly happy. You said the newspapers don't print the truth. Some people say yes, some people don't, but it depends on what paper you're reading. I write for one of the local papers, and I invite you to give me the facts that you say the papers are not true, but I also invite you to tell me tonight and tell the people of Yaphank how fast you can get that buffer up for them, and I will print that, and we'll listen to them as they either say, yes, they kept their word, or no, they didn't. Can I get that from you tonight?
What you can get is an invitation to come over and sit down and discuss all your questions.
I look for commitment, statements, the facts.
Okay, news of the hour.
Not gonna
Getting
give it
down
to
to
me.
late.
Not gonna give
Got
it
a
to me.
couple more questions, and then we're gonna cut it.
Huh?
I just want to know,
Hold up.
I know.
at one point, there was a
My
document
neighbor that's
going
missing in
around,
that
a
black
presentation that Andy Kaufman did, where you were looking at also expanding onto the Ritchie site. Is that still a site that you're looking to acquire, or have
They're
you
gonna let me
started
go.
negotiations?
They want me to walk down there when a guy 2 blocks away from my house is found on landfill.
You did a presentation to the New Metropolitan Transportation Council February 1st last year, 2 years ago. The map was included, and the Ritchie site was there along with the county land. Not today, okay.
Okay.
Yes, I have a question about sand mining. I was wondering if you projected, I mean, obviously made millions upon millions of sand mining for the original purchase of the 30-something acres, and you've obviously started sand mining on the 90-something acres, and I wonder if you have projected just about how many trillions of dollars you're probably going to generate from sand mining on the 250 acres that you're going to buy for $1 million. So I would say to the people in Suffolk County, maybe we ought to go into the sand mining. They are deficit. I think it's disgusting, $20 million.
Hold up.
Like that. Bob, renovation.
The trucks and the trains idle at all.
They have to.
No?
If they're all diesels, they have
We
to.
only have 2 locomotives on this.
And 30,000 trailers a year, diesel.
That this becomes very attractive for a shipping car and for, speed of transporting goods is because when a normal freight train, and New York and Atlantic is a franchise operator for freight trains on Long Island Railroad. When a normal freight train from New York and Atlantic comes onto Long Island, what happens, before Brookhaven Restaurant started operating, what happened was that freight train would get assigned on the line from the Long Island Railroad. They'd go into a siding, they'd drop a couple of cars, and then they'd have to wait again for clearance to come back out onto the main line. So I'm not sure how many sidings are, but I think it's like 3 or 4 of them along the main line. Yeah. And so, if you're writing that down, I'm not sure of that number.
Stop writing.
Stop writing.
Stop it now.
So,
I got your word.
what happens is because we can take an entire freight train off of the line, a freight train can come behind a passenger train, the entire train. It can leave
been doing this all night.
and come all the way out as one train on the main line, and then the entire train comes off of the main line at one time. So there's no jockeying, there's no stopping, coming back on, coming back off. The entire train comes off the main line at one time. And we have two engines. Right now, the train's coming in at about 11:30.
My
understanding though, that diesel trucks, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, diesel trucks have 4 batteries, which are cost effective when you're loading and unloading, so you said running,
That's correct.
then turn it off.
That's correct.
So with the 30,000 trucks that will be loading and unloading, we have a right to be concerned about air pollution.
We already have that. I can tell you that the cruise rates that are picking up the flowers do not, they don't idle, because they don't even have a cab on them when they're unloading and loading. Their cab comes in, they connect up, and they go out.
Just the trailer, not.
Right. And the oil heat trucks are the oil heat trucks that are coming to your home. Those are those two that are coming to connect you on.
And it turns off when they're loading and unloading.
Correct.
Chad, finish up.
As for the last legislative meeting, when, you were questioned about meeting with Civic on a monthly basis, certainly that's something we can hopefully discuss in the future. If this purchase, if this transaction happens, this, obviously, this is what this whole thing is about, it affects our quality of life. Our quality of life is impacted every single day by everything that happens around us. And it continues year after year after year. I've lived here my entire life. I told you my history. My family's been here for hundreds of years. Many, many people in this room have been here for generations. That's right. This continuously affects our quality of life. What do you bring to us? What do you say to the people in the community as the noise pollution, the trucks, the traffic, and all the congestion and everything that your project brings to our community? What do you say to us? What do you bring to us to help if this happens? To ease our fears, to make our life easier. Are you
I
going to
write for
help
the community
with
journal, I'm
noise
gonna get the
pollution?
comments all the time.
What are we gonna do? Where are these? Community. We wanna help you out.
Why does everybody wanna be so quiet? See you now.
I mean, the noise on your truck right now, we're still dealing with a 40-something-year-old concrete roadway from 1970, and the noise is incredible. I've documented it. It's gonna get a lot worse. Our sound barrier is something that can be put up, something that can protect and close off your project from our community. Is that something that
This is equally something that, there's one thing that could work. The problem I think that you are exempt for NEPA, but after quick search, it seems you're only exempt for NEPA in 2010, you were issued that exemption, by the Surface Transportation Board, but that exemption does not apply to an expansion. So if you were, thank you, Mary. If you were, to agree to the county selling the property and saying, but you won't ask for a NEPA exemption, and therefore we could go through a rigorous environmental protection and quality of life protection that Chad is saying, how are you gonna protect us? We can know the answers to those questions. So when the community sits here and says, we know our community has problems, but we don't need more, and how are you gonna help to not add to that burden? That's a very legitimate question on the part of the community, it really is. Every community asks that question, this isn't new to you, it can't be. So why the hell would you wanna be exempt from NEPA? Because it's easier for you, but the community doesn't want that. I mean, that's our water, our air, our quality of life, our transportation. So one way for you to really answer Chad's question is to not apply for that NEPA exemption, and that's one thing the county could mandate, upon the sale of the property.
No, prior to the sale, I'm allowing to speak right, because, we had a new study done.
On 28,
Well, according to this, you were given an exemption in 2010 by
Right, but there was a there was definitely a NEPA study.
You don't need an exemption.
So was it segmented from this process?
You were exempted, that's how you get clear, right? You said earlier, you didn't know how you get clear without a permit.
They cleared before they came into any. And then the Surface Transportation Board issued a cease and desist. Unless, no, actually, there was.
It doesn't apply, anyway, your exemptions don't apply to this process. We're gonna go back to Chad's question.
Oh, we got two people talking at the same time.
I think we have 15. The issue was how, which was Chad's issue, which is, how are we gonna know life doesn't degrade? I think that's kind of a summation of what Chad is asking. And so, if you have exemptions from permits, exemptions from state law, there's no secret, there's nothing, how are you going to do that in good faith with the community?
Too many times the community has heard people saying, oh, it's the federal government, you got nothing to say. Now's your opportunity to say, you know what, we understand the community concern.
Okay, I was not going to, we were, as an organization, was not going to announce this tonight, because frankly, I thought the county legislators were going to do it. But the county legislators have come to us, and they've asked for a citizens advisory committee, and Oakland, and we've all agreed to do it. Now, secret.
Are you doing that now?
Oh, okay, hold on.
Well, I actually thought the county legislature was going to tell you that.
They can't know that.
I just,
Obviously, we didn't get told. Go ahead, back.
Jimmy, I'd like to
After
follow up
November
on
6th,
Chad's
they might
idea,
say
because I
it.
think it's critical and very important. Assuming that the idea of bringing freight in by rail is a good idea, and I think that a lot of it does have merit. Certainly, I think everybody in the room can agree that economic development on Long Island is important to all of us. However, if you're going to do something that benefits the entire region, however, one single community has to bear the brunt of possible consequences, and there's certainly many legitimate things in the room today. Not only should possibly, you people have something to do with working with, at least buffering that as much as you can, but that you should be partnering with the county, who should have that as a concern as well, and should partner with you. So you could, I think that's what Chad's saying, there's a number of things that can be done for this community that's gonna maybe offset or lessen, any impacts, and improve some things that really need to be improved. And what you're looking at is a spirit of compromise, where you can maybe achieve some good on both ends, and everybody can win to a certain degree, rather than that you just come in and say, we're gonna do whatever we want, and then other people sitting in a room, it's no to everything automatic. Neither one works. So I think he's on the right
the
point.
reason that we didn't say anything about any kind of a citizens advisory committee is because frankly, it's not, we would be working, I think, with the county on the committee and how it's formulated. I think that's something we would work with.
So that's something I get that
County
should be taken
legislator, I
to.
mean, Kate has been, from the first time that she came to the site, she said over and over and over again, this community's been dumped on again and again and again and again.
And you didn't
We
listen.
need to work with the community. And so
You
we
didn't
said,
listen again.
we will be part of. I mean, obviously, if we weren't gonna be part of, we wouldn't even be here tonight. So, we said we would do that. How that is formed, what shape it takes, we have not gone into any of those details, but we've obviously said we would be part of one. I mean, look, we're gonna be here, we own that 88 acres.
So can
So,
we
we're gonna be here. Very important. So,
1 second.
no, I'm,
Can we hear from the county and what?
I'm glad you brought this up, Judy, because, because that was one thing that was brought to you by some other legislators. Well, where were you with the community? You did not reach out to the community. I don't know where the deal is gonna go. I don't know where the votes are gonna go. But my concern is that if the votes were to go through and this land is to be sold, will you commit to a community advisory? I'm not saying a governmental advisory board, community. I wanna see a community advisory board, because we have a lot of people in this room who are very interested in what's going on there. And will you commit to that? And also, when it comes to what you're going to do there, when you commit to, before the ink is dry on the contract, the stipulations in the contract as to what, and have this community advisory board come to you, work with you to say, this is what we can accept, this is what we don't want. And allow that to be in the contract with the county. And that's what they want. Again, I'm not voting for the sale, but I don't know where the other 17 legislators are gonna go. I don't want to see us standing around saying, the sale went through, there's nothing in the contract, and I think that we have to prepare one way or the other. We have to prepare both ways. And if the sale goes through, I want to make sure that the people in this community will continue to have a say in the contract with the county and with yourselves, that there will be stipulations and requirements of things that will be acceptable or not acceptable. And will you commit to that?
Okay.
I want an answer.
They need to answer. Hey, I'm not gonna commit to anything because frankly, I am not an attorney. I have never seen the contract with the county. That is something that the county attorney has worked out with the attorney. I know that there is an issue about us not doing certain things because we are going to be a rail freight facility, and as Ted has said over and over again, the federal government does control rail-related issues. So, I'm not going to, I mean, I haven't seen the contract, I don't know what the contract says. I'm not being contract, they need to focus on the land.
Okay, hold on.
Representing ABCO's Land Use and Environment Committee, we have a really lousy track record with these community advisory boards. They really stink. We wouldn't have to be suing the town of Brookhaven if the community advisory board worked. We wouldn't have land surveyors looking to sell the airport if the community advisory boards worked. It is not a solution that I find even palatable. What I think matters here is the process. And when you are anticipating clearly to build an almost 400-acre railroad depot and terminal, that requires a full environmental review and not a willful blindness executed by the county executive's office or his staff or our planning department. You work for us, and you need to do what we need done. The only thing that protects this community from the effects of this is mitigation under secret, and we need to have that, and nothing less than that will be acceptable. Thank you.
I want to backtrack, maybe you know, what is the size of a refrigerated warehouses, that
You don't want.
would have? What square foot? Or ground floor, what size? You don't know, okay. What is the potential of the land left on that property? What is the 30 acres already, before anyone anticipates even thinking of something else, that parcel has to be utilized to its maximum. Is it beyond that, just getting in and out?
Yes.
There is nothing else that,
That 30 acres, will be when the interior roadways are connected in, and there's a transload facility, that's 30 acres.
that's fun, but 24 jobs.
Yeah. Well, that's what we have now.
Yeah, but you said you can't even, there's no other potential for that, except you've already used it up, it's on the expansion.
One of the problem is, it's on the rehash and rehash. As a civic leader, and as Chad and I both agree, and as well as others are in total agreement, because we are all, this is our community. I don't care that there's several different representatives, we're one. This is our community. The big problem that I see, the big problem that we have, is that there isn't accountability
for a lot of things, and there have been a lot of things that have been said, have been quite complied to. I don't think that there's, we all have mixed emotions, and we do need to have the answers, because it's our community. We're living here, we're giving it away, and that's for the birds.
Just remember that all of the Suffolk County legislature still should have our ear.
And tomorrow, Ways and Means, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, Ways and Means.
I wanna-
Ways and Means, 10 o'clock.
Tomorrow in Hop Hop,
In Hop Hop.
tomorrow 10 o'clock,
10 o'clock.
Ways and Means Committee,
Right.
anybody who, listen, we're all working,
Everybody
so,
should be there to
but
let you know.
the thing is that the entire county legislature, 18 legislators as well as the county executive are still responsible to us, to the taxpayers, the people who own this property. And it's very important that everybody still sends in messages, the email to the county legislature, make sure that that gets done. They still need to hear our opinions as to what should happen with this property.
And News 12 will be there in the morning as well.
Wait, could you please ask that question again? How many would like to see themselves? How many, ask that question you asked before. How many here want it? How many here want